Welcome to the Sam Russell Museum campus in Great Falls, Montana, and to our virtual speaker series focusing on missing and murdered Indigenous women. This speaker series has been pre-recorded for quality assurance. Due to COVID-19, our institution has been affected, and like many others, we had to close our doors to the public and to in-person programming in the spring of 2020. Since then, and at the time of this recording, the museum has reopened to the public, and we are continuing educational programs on a virtual and modified basis. One of these programs is the Studio Conversation series, a program series with the objective to engage program attendees with Charlie Russell's studio in a way that Charlie himself may have done, through intimate social gathering, humor, storytelling, and sharing of knowledge and perspective, and lively conversation. In addition to completing each painting in his studio from the year it was built in 1903 until the year of his passing in 1926, Charlie Russell was known to entertain friends and neighbors within the space. The Sam Russell Museum is fortunate to have been awarded a CARES Act relief grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities to fund the completion of a publication of a digital catalog for the recently restored and reinterpreted Russell Home and Studio, belonging to Charlie Russell and his wife and business manager, Nancy Russell. In addition, the Studio Conversation series has been funded and will be included with the final digital publication as an educational extension of the curatorial interpretation. The new interpretation of the Russell Home and Studio seeks to incorporate a stronger presence of Native American voices and contemporary topics. Because of this, the Sam Russell Museum has partnered to create the American Indian and Educators Focus Group, which holds advising power in helping to create a more inclusive development of exhibitions and educational programming within the museum campus. It is through this advisory group that the museum, as an institution, has begun the work of delving more deeply into these important topics and making connections with those who can educate us and our community. One such contemporary topic is the epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous women. Over the course of our speaker series, we will take a look at firsthand family accounts, data mapping of missing and murdered Indigenous women, and advocacy and support. Our final conversation is with Jennifer Whitebear. Jennifer is the mother of Bonnie Three Irons, a 35-year-old woman whose body was recovered during a search in the Wolf Mountains on the Crow Nation Reservation in Montana on April 14, 2017. Jennifer is now raising Bonnie's 6 children. She is a powerful voice who has been involved in the missing and murdered Indigenous women effort and bringing attention to the unsolved missing women's cases in Montana. Jennifer has graciously agreed to share her story. Well, I'll start out by saying thank you, Jennifer, for being a part of this speaker series focusing on missing and murdered Indigenous women. I know for sure through our conversations and the conversations I've had with other women in your shoes and families who have lost loved ones, that the weight of losing someone the way you lost Bonnie is a heavy weight to carry. And I think it is such a big gift that you're willing to talk to me about Bonnie so that we can help others in understanding the epidemic that we really do have in Montana and in the United States of missing and murdered Indigenous women and people. So I just wanted to start out by saying thank you so much. The gift that you're giving us today does not go unnoticed. So I thought maybe the best way to start is for you to tell us who you are and introduce yourself and tell us who Bonnie is and how you're related to Bonnie, so anyone watching this knows who she is too. And I think that's the best place to start.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Whitebear. I'm a Crow Native American Indian. I am from Montana, Crow Reservation. I am the mother of Bonnie T. Young and her 6 kids. She's my third child. She was born a girl. Um, I was the first out of 3 kids to have a daughter, so I named her after my mother, Bonnie. And she was a bubbly little girl.
Was she your only
Um,
daughter?
no, I have another daughter.
Or another daughter?
I have 2 boys and then 2 girls. On May 31st, 1982, I was in labor. I went to the Crow Hospital in Crow. I had the most beautiful little girl. I was the first of 3 kids that had a girl, so I named my girl after my mom, Bonnie. She is so very beautiful. I watched her grow from an infant to a beautiful woman and a mother. As most mothers and daughters, we had our ups and downs. We laugh, we cry. Bonnie is my world. We've been through a lot together, but she's my girl, my daughter. She wasn't supposed to leave us. She has 6 of the most beautiful kids. She has 4 boys and 2 girls. Bonnie also has many brothers and sisters. They're cousins, but she grew up as brothers and sisters. On
You can take your time.
on April, thank you.
I understand. Yeah.
On April 7th, 2017, it was the evening after supper. My my daughter Bonnie and my sister Joy were standing at the door going down to the basement because all the kids were down there playing games and it was bedtime. So when I go to bed, my grandkids, the babies, have to go to bed with me. So I told my daughter to bring the kids up, so we were standing in the kitchen, and she called the babies up and said, Carla's going to bed, so you guys have to go to bed with her. And my Bonnie was looking down the basement, and as they were coming up, she told them good night and go sleep with Carla. I'll see you tomorrow. So she had to watch the kids while I worked. She gave them each hugs and kisses and told them good night. And I reminded my daughter that you have to watch the kids while I go to work. She said, "Okay, Mom, I'll be here in the morning. You go to sleep. You just go to sleep, and I'll see you in the morning." And I said, "Okay." She said, "I love you, Mom. Good night." And that's the last words I heard her speak to me. But me and the babies went to sleep, and the next morning I got up and got ready for work and came down to the living room. And she wasn't here, so I went and checked in her room. She wasn't there. Then I asked the kids if their mom ever came back, and they said no. So I told the older ones to watch the baby, so I had to go to work. And I said, call me and let me know as soon as she gets in. So they said, okay. So I went to work, and it's, uh, it's a mother's intuition or a mother's feelings. I felt like there was something wrong. And I kept calling home, and she wasn't here. And we were supposed to get her cap on the 10th, and that was Saturday the 8th. So I thought, well, she'll be back, because it's going to be Jenny Bear's birthday, and we were going to take her to Chuck E. Cheese, and she didn't show up. And I thought, well, sometimes she goes and she stays at my sister's house in Dowling, and maybe I know she doesn't have a phone. I thought maybe that's where they're at, and she'll be back. But afterwards, I went to Lodge Grass, and I asked around to family members if they'd seen her around. Nobody seen her. I went to Loyola, asked my grandpa, and once in a blue moon, she stopped by over there. And I went to my sister's in Lodge Grass, and nobody seen her. So I came home, and I thought, well, she'll be here tonight. And after supper, she still never showed up. I couldn't get hold of my sister on Facebook or Messenger. And Sunday came around. I was the ninth. I woke up and she still wasn't home. And I kept praying and praying that she would get hold of us, let us know what's going on. Maybe if she needs a ride, I could have my kids go after her. But know, I was at work and I couldn't focus. And I don't know, I had this horrible feeling. A mother thing. And my boss said, just go. There's some death when you need to go look again. So I told her thank you, and I left. And I came home and I told my grandkids, I said, you guys watch the babies. I'll go watch that. To see if your mom's down there. So I went, and the different stories. Oh yeah, we seen her. She was with so and so, and they went to Loyola, they went to Sheridan, and I just kept praying, she'll show up, and she never showed up. And that night after supper, I took the kids to bed, and I don't know, I just had this horrible feeling. And just but she never showed up. I kept getting on Messenger, and I would get on her profile. Please call me. I need you to come home. I get hold of my sister on Messenger, or go to her Messenger and say to her, where are you? Please bring my daughter home. I haven't heard from you guys. tell you guys that I don't know. I keep going to Montreal and Wyola and Crow, and I can't find you guys. We went to her house in Billings once, but there was nobody home. And then Monday was the 10th. That was the cat day, so I thought, yeah, she'll be here. She'll be here. Because, we had plans. We were going to pay for get our plates for both vehicles so we could take the baby to Billings for Benita's birthday, and she never showed up. So my daughter Delilah, she drove me to Crow, and on the way to Crow, we see my sister's truck go by, and I thought, oh, thank you, Jesus, she's okay, she's going home now. So we went to Crow, we were getting our cat pets, and I felt some relief that I thought my daughter was on her way home. But then after she got her check, we went home, and she still wasn't home. So we went looking for my sister's truck and her, and thought she might be here somewhere. And when we came back, she wasn't home. We went looking all around here in Hardin, and we couldn't find her. And I thought, well, they're probably gonna go hang out a little bit, and then they'll come over. And still no show. And I kept pleading with my sister to, call me, stop by, and bring my daughter home. But there was still no answer. And the 11th came around, and she still wasn't here. So I went to show to the police department because I was talking to my sons and my daughter, and she said, there's something wrong. I can feel it. There's something very, very wrong. And I went to the Seoul Police Department. I asked to file a missing persons report. And while we were there, my sister finally messaged me, call on Messenger while I was at the police department. And she said the last time they seen my daughter, Bonnie, was at the mountains. And I asked her, well, what about? And she just said the pond, and that she got into a fight with someone, and he walked away. And she said, we all left. And she said, I thought she left with somebody else, with the other vehicle. And I told her, she won't get in with somebody she just fought. And I said, why didn't you tell us? Why couldn't you get hold of us? And I would have. I would have got up and I would have went and looked for her. It was so cold and freezing that night. And it rained and it snowed and it was below zero. And I asked that cop, I said, could you take us up there and we can find her? And I called my sister and I told her what has happened. A lot of stress and at the gas station. And look, Thursday, every day we look for her. And I just kept praying and praying that she was, not up there. I was hoping and praying she was somewhere down here or, on a party that she just spaced out everybody. And I just kept praying and praying. And every day I was praying and asking God to bring her home. And on Friday, we went all the way. There's a ranch over there, and they said somebody stopped by over there, so we rushed to that side of the mountain, and I prayed all the way over there that, whoever said there was a girl over there, that it was my mommy. And, I went over there and said it wasn't her. And then we were waiting for the dogs to come, and they got hold of us, and one of the wardens came, found us, and told us that the chief of police was up there and wanted to talk to all of us. And I was like, oh, yes, they found her, and she's probably down in Los Angeles somewhere and hanging out with some of the family members, and that they finally found her. And I was happy. We went over there to where we always met up, where we started the search from. And we, we pulled up, and there was a lot of cops there. One of my friends walked up and he said, and so we found her. Oh, my heart was so happy. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. And I, I was so happy for
Yeah.
a moment. I was so happy. And then he looked at me and so he said, Jenny, and I looked. And he said, and so again, we found her, and he put his head down. My heart got shredded.
Gosh. So
My head off, and I said no, and I tried to jump out of the ride, and he yelled at my brothers, don't let her out of the car. But somehow I got out of there, and I crawled out of the window, and all my brothers grabbed me, and they held me down, and I wanted to go hold my daughter. I wanted to hold her and tell her how much I love her, but they wouldn't let me go down there. But I couldn't understand because we started searching from that point. My sister had me walk on the straight road because I had that back, and they went up and down the hill through the little ditches and through the trees. And every day we started from right there, and that's where they found her. So we know somebody put her there, because before we never got phone service out there, and we went almost to the Wyoming borderline, and we got phone service. My messenger kept going off the hook, and I was looking at it, and one of my relatives, I couldn't remember who it was, messaged and said they found her, got beat up, and they threw her in the ditch by some trees. And I told my sister, I started screaming and crying, and she said, "Don't believe anything people say." And a couple of days later, that's where we found her, in the ditch by a tree. They wouldn't let me see her at that time. We were there, it seemed like forever. And every day it's like I come down. She has her own room upstairs, but she always slept on the couch in front of the big TV. And I come downstairs, and for years I still feel like yesterday. When I come down, I pray and I say, "Please, God, let her be on the couch. Let her just get that thing." But when I look on the couch, she's never there. She'll never be on the couch. When I go somewhere, like to the store, I still find myself searching for her. Maybe, maybe it just might be a bad dream, and I can't wake out of this nightmare. I don't know what happened up there. No one will talk. Every day it's like, why? Why couldn't you tell me? I would have went and looked for her right away. I would have got up. I would have told all my family. We would have went up there. It was so cold.
You couldn't, there's no way. It's when something like that happens, it's not something you can control. You did everything you possibly could. It's not fair. And I don't know. I'm doing my best to tell you from a personal standpoint that if someone tells you you could have done more, that's not true. You did everything you could have, and that's just the long and short of it. If you can't ever expect that you can't ever anticipate, no one should have to anticipate that someone they love can just be taken or go missing. Nobody is prepared for that. Nobody ever expects that will happen to them. And that's just the truth. And it's just not fair if it happens to you or to someone else. There's no way to be prepared for that, and it's not fair. And there's nothing more than you could have done. There's nothing more. You did everything you could have. I just don't know what else you could have done.
And my grandkids or my family always says, we'll be okay. We're with family. I don't take that no more. I said, look at your mom, look at your sister. She was a family member. She grew up with her. They were like sisters growing up. She was my little sister. That was her auntie. I tell my kids, don't trust nobody. You can't trust anybody these days. She never told us for 3 days. 3 days. She could have been home. I would have got up. I would have got up. I would have got all my family to go after her and look for her. Now when it's cold, I don't like the cold. I don't like. No, because I don't know how long my daughter was out there. She told me, "Hold out, Mom. Where are you? I need you." I never liked the cold anymore after that. She was my daughter. No one has the right to do that. Me and Bonnie used to always watch unsolved mysteries and CSI and CIS and Law and Order. And we used to play investigator. And what if something like this happened? And what could possibly be? And we would say, we would kind of like be the investigator of the show. We would act like we were the investigators or the cops in that show, and we would figure it out before they figured it out.
So, did they, what did, were you, I, I mean, what was her cause of death? What was their conclusion? Did you find any answers or any more information that they could gain?
All they told us was hypothermia due to exposure to elements. When I'd go to the police department and I'd ask the investigator, what was being done about my daughter, and they just said, well, no one's saying anything, no one's talking, there's nothing you can do. And I said, what do you mean there's nothing you can do? I said, dude, if CSI was here, they would have already found out who it was. I said, it's not your daughter, that's why you guys don't care. I said, if you have children, you would know what I'm going through. I brought her in this world. And then they passed it off to the investigators passed everything off to FBI and Billings because it was federal. It was more like pass the buck. They don't want to deal with it, let somebody else deal with it. And then when I would call every week. I would call once, twice, even 3 times a week. I would call up there and find out if anything was being done. And then they would say, "No, we haven't heard anything." I said, "Well, who's doing the investigating? Why can't you guys find out anything? Are you guys just sitting in your nice warm office?" Well, all these people that were there, they're all getting their stories straight. They're all getting together and let's say it went like this because he didn't just die of hypothermia. He may have died of hypothermia, but it was negligence of what those other people did to her. Because when they found her, one of my brothers was telling me that he snuck down there and he seen how my Bonnie was. He said she was tossed, like someone just tossed her on a bunch of branches down in a little coulee by some trees, and she didn't have a sock and a shoe on, and her shirt was up above her belly, and all she had on was a thin sweater, very thin sweater. But every day for 4 days where we searched, we started from that area and worked our way towards the Cheyenne um, borderline. And in between Friday morning, after we started walking, somebody had to have put her there because she was not there because my sister was, her and her husband started from there because they didn't want me walking up and down the hills because of my bad back. He said, "You just stay on the flat surface or just stay in the ride." But every murder that happens, somebody knows something, but they don't want to be involved. If I knew something bad that happened to somebody's child, I would definitely say something because I would think I every day I wake up and I thank God for having me here with my grandkids. And every day I pray that somebody will, have enough heart to speak up. Let me know what happened to my daughter. Some people say, "Oh, it's gonna hurt. It'll hurt whatever they say to you." I'm hurting. I've been hurting since she's been gone. How much hurt can a person take? I can't I can't leave this world until I find out exactly what happened. I need closure. I need to know that I can, close that door and let her rest in peace. I can't. She was my child. I had her. I felt her grow inside of me. I felt her be born. No one knows what a mother goes through until it happens to them. But I need to know. I know it will hurt, but I have to know. I need to know exactly what happened, who was there, who did what. I quit drinking after that because I used to drink. And after she left, I quit drinking because I know what I could do if I was under the influence. And I don't want my grandkids losing me the way they lost their mom. because I know if I was drunk, I would do something very, very bad. They can't raise me. I'm all they have. They need me here. So I put reasons. They need me as much as I need them. I think I need them more because they're the ones that keep me together. But no parent is supposed to do that. But I think that the FBI and the BIA and the pro cops, they should all get involved more. And I don't think they were out there after we left because it was way up there. Who wants to go way out there and do paperwork or investigate? They could just stay in their office and go eat out at a restaurant or something. They don't want to be bothered with someone, but they would think differently if it was their child. That's what I think. That's how I feel. But more needs to be done. Someone with a heart needs to get out there and find out what happened. You know, it's not just a job. You need to know, and you need to get this family closure. Because without that closure, it's a nightmare. Every day it's a nightmare. When I wake up, I just pray and let this nightmare not be true. Let her be downstairs. Let her come home. In the mountain, and they told me, they found her and she was gone. I wanted to die right there. I didn't want to be here. But it's my grandkids that kept me. I have my other kids. They need me. My grandkids need me more than ever. Yeah, that's what I really want is I need to know. I need to know. I have to know what happened. Every parent that loses a child, they need to know.
I hope you find answers. And I do. I hope you find answers. And I hope with this video, it just helps there to be more awareness that people need to speak up. And I really just hope. I hope you find. I hope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope that somebody says something. Because you're right, unless somebody does, there's no closure. And there's someone out there that knows. I hope that more people realize that they need to speak up.
Because here, anywhere, it don't matter where, anywhere here in this whole world, like here on our res, something happens in the morning, by noon, everybody knows. And everybody's on Facebook. Yep, 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 yep. This happened, that happened. It was this person, it was that person. But like my daughter Bonnie and all these other children that have gone missing, mothers, fathers, children, grandchildren that have gone missing and something bad happened, nobody knows anything. But you know they did. Somebody knows something. They just don't want to be involved. But if it happens to to them, they would be asking, please help, let us know what happened. I always ask, please let me know. Tell me, I need to know. They're probably thinking, oh, you'll fall apart. I fall apart every day. I hear my daughter's name, I fall apart. I have to know.
The closure is important.
Yes,
The closure is so important. It's when you know that she went missing and she was found and the cause of death was hypothermia, and there's no reason for her to have left the safety of your home with your family and just gone off and gone missing on her own. That would never happen. And you know that as her mother. And women and family members who have others who have gone missing and that I have spoken to, it's very similar. The she didn't go off on her own and lay down outside. That's just
yes,
not what happened, and that's what it seems, what it's made to seem like happened. And that's just not the case. And you deserve to know. You as her mother deserve to know. There needs to be justice. What happened?
yes,
What are those answers in between? And you can 100% accept those. No mother deserves to just have to accept that her daughter went missing, did something completely uncharacteristic that you know Bonnie would never do. And then you have to accept that that's how it ended when you know better. A lot of people know better. That's what I hope.
Bonnie, you know, we grew up at the foot of the Big Horn Mountains, and we've been snowed in. My kids know how to survive in the snow. They just be way below zero, and they'd be playing outside, and they did something to my daughter. My grandson, Farron, the one you seen earlier, that was her right hand man. And everywhere Bonnie went, she had him.
Mhm.
And after he passed away, he started having bad dreams. And we don't know if he was talking to him and trying to get through us to him, but he would tell us things that only, Bonnie would know that happened out there. And he would cry. I would cry with him. I would hold him. And now I always tell my grandkids, I say, like, especially Jenny Bear, she didn't. I had her since she was born. They brought her straight to me from the hospital. But Chubby, Aaron, he was mommy's boy, and he went everywhere with her. So he was very close to her, and I think she was speaking to him through him, trying to get us to see, what happened out there. Because
Mhm.
he's only been out so far out there. He
Mhm.
hasn't been all the way out to where we found her. And he knows things. He sees things that were out there. He's seen a cabin which he's never been to, and he's seen the water or the pond that he's never been to. And he would tell me things that happened out there, and someone ran over his mommy with a truck, And the only one that had a truck out there was my sister, the one she left with. And I said, don't, don't trust even your own family, because they can turn on you in a heartbeat. But I told Chubby and Jenny there, I said, the Chubby would say, where's my mommy? Why isn't she coming home? She's been gone a real long time. And I would sit them down and I'd say, look at mommy. Like, we have a picture above the bed. I said, look at mommy. She's with God. God needed a helper to watch over you kids, her brothers and sisters, her Paula's. He needed a helper. So God took your mom to help him. So when you're awake during the daytime, your mom is helping God. But when you go to bed at night, I always tell Chubby, because he has his own bed, and I always tell Chubby, I said, Chubby, make sure you have a pillow and make space so your mommy can come lay with you after she helps God. And at night I always tell them, tell mommy good night, and they would tell her, good night in heaven, mommy, help God. And after they go to sleep, I just pray and I ask Bonnie to keep an eye on all her kids and watch over and protect them. Sometimes Chubby says, when will mommy be free helping God? When will she be able to come back? And that really breaks my heart. And I just sit there and like, Paula, when does mommy get off work helping God and come back home to us? And I said, Chubby, you know what? When mommy's through helping God, that will be the time that God will need us to help him. And then God will come after us, and then we'll be with mommy again. And then he says, oh, okay, and then we get to help God.
I can say for sure your strength is very admirable and what it takes for you to do what you do every day and to take care of her children, your grandchildren, and reassure them that she's helping God is it's very beautiful. And that takes strength.
Bonnie was my, when I go to work, I come home, and she was my masseuse, because I have a really bad back, and come home, and she massage my back from my head to my toes, and I would tell the babies that, and they would say, well, we can help you, we'll be like mommy, and they would try to massage. They'd start for probably a good minute, and they would say, oh, my hands hurt, we're so tired. So, Bonnie, you need to give them more strength. That little 1 minute isn't kicking it.
Jennifer, is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you would like to say or share?
All I can think about right now is, you know, as a mother of a missing and murdered child, I pray for everybody, every parent, every mother, father, that, you know, I pray for you that your child is found hopefully safe and alive. I What? Yeah, go ask them. So I had to put a cartoon movie on for you. What? I got Teen Titans. Teen Titans? Yeah. Those are your cats. Those are our cats.
Hi, cat. What's the cat's name?
Miss Bean.
What is it?
Miss Bean?
Miss Bean?
Yeah.
As in like baked bean or lima
Yeah.
bean? Oh, that's cute.
It's like having twins. Do something else. They both are. All of Bonnie's kids are unique in their own ways. But
And they're all there, the six of them?
no, I have four of them,
Okay.
and then the oldest one, he lives in Billings. His name is Elisha. Him and his girlfriend are gonna have a baby in
Oh,
March. That will be my third great,
wow.
and excited. And then the little girl, Serena, she lives with her dad. So I got the other four: Josiah, D'Angelo, and Sharon and Jimmy Bear.
That's quite a handful.
Yeah.
Congratulations on being a great grandmother.
Thank you.
Girl,
I'm excited.
that's exciting.
Yeah. This
There's,
one I'll get to watch grow up. Because the other two, they live somewhere else. But this one, this baby, I'll get to watch grow.
that's good. That's good. Well, I'm gonna
Um,
recording it. Is there anything else you want to add?
um, just prayers for all the missing. Oh, prayers for all the families that they find are missing and that they come home. And prayers for all the other families that aren't, that they can't find their families. I pray for them every day. When I wake up in the morning, I pray for them, and when I go to bed, I pray for them. It's a hard thing to go through. No one should go through that.
Mhm.
But I want to say thank you.
Is there anything that you think that people can do to help spread awareness or to help bring more acknowledgement to the problem of missing and murdered Indigenous people? Because it is a problem. It's Indigenous people go missing at a higher rate than any other group. Is there any advice that you have for what we can do to spread awareness?
Yeah. Speak up. You can be anonymous. Just speak up. It needs to be heard. You need to let somebody know, even if you don't want to tell your name. That is the most important thing. To me, that's very important. I wish somebody would tell me, even if they write a letter to me and don't write no name or anything. let me know what happened. Everybody, that's what everybody needs to know, what happened, because it's on our minds every day. I pray, and I try not to let it affect my day, but it does. It creeps in out of nowhere. It hits me like a ton of bricks. I'll be happy one moment, the next moment I'll be in tears, and but that's the most important thing. Somebody needs to speak up. Be brave. You don't even have to tell your name. Just you know, speak for the unspoken. Somebody that cannot talk anymore. Let somebody know what happened, or it's hard for us. It's hard for us parents. We're the hurting. We're the ones that are hurting the most. If somebody would just speak up and tell me, so and so did this, so and so done that, you don't even have to tell me who you are. If you can get it all figured out and, have whoever did it, they, you know, my daughter needs justice. She did not put herself on those branches by the tree and the ditch. She did not do that. Somebody did that to her. We need justice. Her children need justice. Her brothers and sisters need justice. Bonnie needs the justice. So the number one thing that needs to be done is somebody needs to speak, even if you don't want to tell your name. Speak up. Write it on a paper. Send it in the mail. You don't even have to have your name, your address, nothing. Just, write down what had happened. That helps out a lot. That's all I ask for. All any parent could ask for.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you for speaking.